Hey, what's going on everyone? Greg here. And when the Apple Watch was first released, there was a big emphasis placed on apps. Now over the years, Apple has kind of toned this down a little bit and they put more of an emphasis on overall fitness and overall health features on the Apple Watch, but there are still some really amazing apps available on the Apple Watch. So for this video, I wanted to cover 10 awesome applications that I currently use on my Apple Watch. And while all of these apps have iPhone counterparts, I will just be mainly focusing on the Apple Watch aspect on all of these apps. So let's get started with the first app, and that would be Bear Notes. Now, Bear Notes has an awesome iPhone app, an iPad app, and even a Mac app. But what I was really struck by when I first started using Bear Notes was that it came with an Apple Watch app. And I've never seen an Apple Watch app have a user interface like this before. You can easily pin notes so they appear at the top of the Apple Watch, which is really useful if you want to reference a quick note. And even if you don't pin notes, you can see the most recent notes in the Bear Notes app. Really easy to scroll through apps. If you have a Series 4 Apple Watch, the text is nice and big on those bigger screens. If you want to add to a note, you can also do that too by using the microphone on the Apple Watch, and you can dictate notes to it. Or if you want to make a completely new note, if inspiration strikes you and you don't have your phone by you, if you don't have your iPad or Mac by you, and all you can use is your voice, you can quickly make new notes. And as you use your voice, it'll dictate notes into the Bear Notes app. Again, I recommend Bear for anyone on an iPhone or a Mac or an iPad. It's a really awesome note-taking app and it syncs with iCloud, and it's really cool that they have an Apple Watch notes-taking app. I just love being able to access my notes anywhere, even on my wrist. Now, while the Apple Watch does come in with a built-in calendar app, this next app is also really good, and that's called Fantastical. Fantastical is a calendar application, and it works very similar to the way the calendar app on the current Apple Watch works. But what I like about Fantastical is I find that it gives you a little bit more information about your upcoming dates. For example, on the stock calendar app, you can only see that the current week's events are in play. So for now, I can only see Hanukkah. But if you scroll down on Fantastical, you can see even more of your calendar appointments for the upcoming week. I also like the interface of it being a little more scrollable instead of a card flipping view like in the stock calendar app. And where Fantastical really shines for me is that it will actually combine your reminders with the calendar app. And that's just a really awesome feature to have, to just go to one spot to check all of your reminders and all of your calendar appointments. Now, if you're a list person and that reminders feature in Fantastical isn't enough for you, if you want to make a big list of upcoming projects or just things you have to do in your day-to-day, this next app is particularly good for that, and that app is called Things. Things is a really good iPhone app, and it shines on the Apple Watch as well. On the iPhone, it's great for managing your day-to-day, as well as complex projects that you might want to put into a giant list. For the Apple Watch app, it focuses more on your today view, and you can quickly see what you have to do for today, and as you're doing them, you can quickly check them off in the Apple Watch app. I really like the user interface for this, and I like how when you're checking off the things you have to do, you get a nice circle, and as you start checking more things off, it starts to fill in that circle. Very similar to the design language in the activity rings, so very familiar to people who are already using an Apple Watch. And aside from just checking off things to do, you can also add things into things. You can also add things to do in your to-do list by using the built-in microphone. Now, I've really been getting a lot of enjoyment out of this fourth app, and that is called Chirp. So when the Apple Watch was first released, Twitter actually had a native client on the Apple Watch, but unfortunately, they let it die. This is where Chirp comes in. It's a third-party Twitter client for your Apple Watch. Really excellent design for Chirp. It looks exactly like you would imagine a Twitter feed on your Apple Watch. Very easy to scroll through your Twitter feed. And besides from just checking your Twitter feed, you can like, you can retweet, or you can even make your own tweets or reply to tweets in Chirp. And yes, you can use the built-in microphone for a lot of the previous apps to dictate text to it, but what's cool about Chirp is you can actually use the scribble feature on the Apple Watch to compose or reply to tweets as well. If you're used to messaging on the Apple Watch, you know that scribble is the form of inputting text where you draw out the letters. And that's a little better to do when you're in a public situation where you don't want to be talking to your watch, and you can still use this as a fully functioning Twitter client. Chirp also uses some really cool haptic feedback, so when you're loading into things, you'll get a nice little haptic feedback to let you know you're done, which you really don't need on the Apple Watch Series 4, considering everything loads so quickly, but if you're coming from an older Apple Watch, that is useful. And Chirp is completely free to use. There is also a pro version, which unlocks things like messages in the Chirp app, but to start off with, it's completely free, so if you want your Twitter client on your Apple Watch, I would definitely recommend giving Chirp a shot. So if you're looking to improve your vocabulary, maybe I can tantalize you with this next app, and that app is Daily Dictionary. It's a simple word of the day Day dictionary app. This is a word of the day app that gives you a brand new word to learn every day, gives you the definition, gives you how to use the word, and even gives you synonyms. Just a very simple app, nothing too complex about it, which is why I like it. It's just a very simple word of the day app. And where it really shines is in the beginning of the day, it will give you a notification on your Apple Watch with the word of the day with the complete definition right in the notification. So you really don't even need to open the app. You'll just get that daily notification every day on the word of the day. Okay, and this next app is great if you're looking to do any sort of nutritional or calorie tracking on your Apple Watch. And this app is called MyFitnessPal. So not only is MyFitnessPal a complete calorie tracker, which is really great if you're using the Apple Watch to currently track your activity, you're also going to need to track what you eat and your nutrition for the day. You can quickly see how many calories you have left to eat in the day, how much protein you've had, how much carbohydrates you've had, and also how much fat you've had. You can also quickly input calories or even your water intake. And it's just a really nice complementary app to have, especially if you're tracking your activity on the Apple Watch, especially considering that Apple doesn't have a built-in calorie tracker on the Apple Watch. Speaking of the Apple Watch not having built-in solutions, this next app is for people who want to track their sleep, and this app is called AutoSleep. Now there's a couple of third-party sleep trackers on the Apple Watch, but what I really like about AutoSleep is, like its name implies, is that it automatically starts as you go to sleep. So you don't have to worry about pressing a button before you go to sleep. All you have to do is just wear your Apple Watch while you're sleeping and AutoSleep will automatically start working. I really like the way it displays your sleep information in the circle interface, very similar to a lot of the apps I've been showing that borrow the design language from the activity app. Makes it very easy to understand how much sleep you got. It also gives you a percentage of how you sleep, very similar to charging a battery, so it's kind of very easy to understand how much sleep you're getting and also how much sleep you really should be getting on a normal day. And a pro tip for any sleep tracker app out there is that you're eventually going to need to charge your Apple Watch if you're using it for sleep tracking. So instead of charging it at night, put your Apple Watch on the charger while you're taking your shower, while you're eating your breakfast, and before you leave in the morning, put that Apple Watch back on and it should be fully charged. This next app is really great for people who want to store a lot of passwords, and that is 1Password. Now, I recommend that you use a password manager because on basically any website, you want to be using a unique password as opposed to the same password over and over again. And that's because if one website gets hacked and they reveal your password information, that means all of your passwords are now insecure. So it really pays off to have a bunch of unique and long, strong passwords. And 1Password is my password manager of choice. I like the Apple Watch app because you can put a lot of frequently used passwords right in the list view. So for me, I'll put in passwords that I'm currently using a lot. So for example, I usually put my router password information on the Apple Watch just in case I have someone over my house and they're asking for the Wi-Fi password, which does happen a lot. And you can even put secure notes on it. So if you have some very top secret information that you don't want anyone else to find out about, you can store that in 1Password and then you can access that note on your Apple Watch. I also have a referral link to 1Password, so if you're interested in storing your passwords in 1Password and you want to help out the channel, you can use that affiliate link to help me out. Again, I really recommend 1Password as a really good password manager. It easily syncs with iCloud and I use it on my iPhone, my iPad, my Mac, and of course my Apple Watch. Okay, and this next app has been a staple on the App Store ever since there was an App Store, and that app would be called Deliveries. Deliveries is just a really simple delivery tracking app. Translates really well to the Apple Watch. You can see your recent orders and you can just quickly get the tracking information on them. So if you're like me and you're constantly ordering from Amazon or Apple, you can see when your deliveries are out for delivery. And it's just really nice to be able to see all your packages out for delivery and get constant up-to-date notifications on them, especially if you're like me and you are just impatient in waiting for the UPS man to deliver your packages. Okay, and this last app has been an app on the Apple Watch ever since the Series 0, and I've been using it since then, and this is called Just Press Record. As its name suggests, Just Press Record is an app that you just press a button and it will start recording any audio from your Apple Watch. And the microphone, especially on the Series 4, is surprisingly really clear at picking up anything going on in the room. So if you have a note on the top of your head and you want to remember it for later, Just Press Record works really well for that. It's really great to discreetly record a conversation you're having with someone else and you want to remember that for later. And what's really cool is you can even play back the recording on the inbuilt speakers on the Apple Watch, and on the Apple Watch Series 4, that 50% louder speaker just makes it sound really, really clear.
This is a test of Just Record on the Apple Watch Series 4.
And that is just a highly recommended app for me. It's been around since the Series 0 Apple Watch, and it works really well. Okay, and those are my 10 apps that I really recommend for the Apple Watch. Let me know in the comments below if you liked any of the apps I mentioned. Let me know some of your favorite Apple Watch apps in the comments below as well. As always, guys, if you liked the video, make sure you give it a like. If you're new to the channel, maybe consider subscribing and joining the community. Also, don't forget to use that 1Password referral. I'll put that in the link in the description. And I'll also put the 2 Apple Watch bands I use in this video in the link in the description. Whenever I do a video on the Apple Watch, people are constantly asking me what bands I'm using. So all of that will be in the description. And as always, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.